What's going on there, YouTube? Well, I finally did it. I've been talking about doing a Volkswagen rat rod since I started. That was the first body I was thinking of using because there just wasn't much out there at the time until I ran across number 2 cab back there from Jason. And yeah, I've had this extra Sand Scorcher body sitting around. And I tested this color on it and didn't like it. And last night I just decided to cut the fenders off. I had these tires and wheels. These are just old wagon wheels from RC 4-wheel drive, 1.9s. And I've been slightly weathering them. So yeah, I've ordered some parts. This already has a Yoda 2 rear axle. And you can see I've welded up a basic frame here to start with. And I ordered the semi-truck drop axle for the front, the billet ones you get on eBay. And the tires, those are the Roadies, RC 4-wheel drive 1.7 semi-truck tires. They're a little too narrow for those wheels, so I've ordered a set of the super wides, which are the same height, just a little bit wider. And they'll fit those wheels a lot better. I'm probably going to leave the dirt grabbers on the back, because I don't know why I like those on the back of my rat rods. But yeah, I don't know what how far I'm going to take this yet. I have considered chopping the top, but I mean, anything else, it wouldn't be that big a deal, but a Volkswagen, that is complicated. In real life, you're basically rebuilding the entire roof. And there's 2 ways of doing it, neither of which I think is going to translate into plastic very well. And I'm afraid I'm going to end up having a big mess. I think I want to do some weathering first. Since I don't have my front axle yet, I can't really get too far on the chassis. I think I'm going to do some experimenting. First step, I wet sanded as much as I could. I used some real nice, I think it was 320 grit. Took a little while. I got it all pretty well wet sanded. We got some edges popping through and lots of stuff looking right. While I was waiting, I forgot, I found this little VW emblem on the parts tree. I didn't even realize that it had. I'm sure you can even see that. And it has a little chrome VW emblem for the hood on these Sand Scorcher bodies. So I dipped that one in some fake rust and put it on the Apocalypse build. I'll do the same thing for this one once we get there, but I was just making sure I had headlights and stuff for this body, and I do, so we're good to go. Next step, I'm trying something new with this. So there's no primer, there's no nothing, since this is already a injection molded body. There's not any real body work that needs to be done. So got my base color, wet sanded it. Now I'm going to come back with my metal paint, and I'm going to put it in some strategic places. I'm going to do some around the rockers, and just like I tried to do with the Apocalypse body, just on the metal parts. We'll see how that goes. It's just about dry. It's still got a few little wet spots, but I'm going to hit some key areas with that, but I'm not going to spray the activator yet. We're going to let it, sorry, I hope you can hear me over the fan. I'm venting from welding. I'm going to hit just some key areas, and then we're going to come back and do the rust streaks over the entire thing. And then once that dries, it'll probably take a couple days, then we'll come back with the activator and bring out the real rust in the places where we put it. Alright guys, so I changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to brush apply the activator just on these spots. I'm afraid if I do the rust streaks first, they'll cover the iron paint and then it won't activate when I spray it. So this stuff is pretty nasty. This bottle was the one that came with the original kit. I did buy a big refill bottle, but it barely sprays. It's clogged up. This stuff gets pretty yicky. So that's why I opted to do it with the brush this time. Yeah, this brush will work. So I'm not going to bore you and make you watch it all, but everything's dry. While the iron paint was drying, I went ahead and did the window edges with my flat black paint marker, just to add that detail now. That way, when we do the rust streaks over everything, it will help, you know, add a little depth to it. Actually, I forgot a step. I need to do this real quick. I've got to paint the inside of the body black. I completely forgot about that. I meant to do that earlier, but I was waiting for it to dry. So I'm going to take it outside. I'm not going to tape anything off. I'm just going to rattle can the inside black, and then we'll come back and do the rust activator. I got a fair amount of it on my hands. Got a little overspray on the outside. It's not a big deal because, like I said, we're not worried about this green finish. It's kind of why I do it like that. I did that on, what was it, the Shapeways giveaway body, and it helped add a little more depth to it because some of the black overspray gathered in the low places and stuff. So now I'm going to take this and brush apply the activator on the iron oxide paint. Alright guys, so everything's drying. I've put 2 or 3 coats with the brush of the activator on the real rust. It takes a little longer when you brush it for some reason. When you spray it with the spritzer that's on the little bottle, it seems to work faster. So I need to just leave it alone for a little bit and come back later and look at it. I just wanted to show you, it looks like crap. And that's just part of the process. That's what made me so afraid of doing this kind of stuff, was the process of it is dirty, it's nasty, and it looks terrible. But once it's all said and done, the finished product actually looks pretty good. It looks realistic. So I went ahead and glued the VW emblem on the hood and hit it with a little bit of the rust streak. And you can see a couple spots I've done that are staining. Like I said, I've done about 3 coats with the brush of the activator on mainly the running boards, and I've got a couple spots here and there, and it's staining the finish itself wherever it was. I went ahead with a silver paint marker and painted the door handles. So when I was wet sanding, I knocked all the paint off of those, so I figured now would be a time to add a little color to that, and then we come back with the rust streaks over the whole thing, and it'll all come together. And also doing some chrome stuff here. The 2 sets of mirrors, because I don't have any mirrors on the Apocalypse Sand Scorcher, and it's got those gaping holes in the side where those mount, so figured I'd do some up. And then I've got the headlights and stuff for this body as well, rusting. The way that is the rust streaks, the AK brand rust streaks, and the way that works on the chrome is it kind of tints it almost like a bronze or a gold, and gives it a pretty good look. So I'm probably going to dab some of that off of there, and then we'll let this stuff set for a little while and come back. Alright guys, so the weathering's good and dry. It's been a few days since I did all that. I got some parts in today. I got my front axle, and I got my front tires for these wider 1.9 wheels. So next up, we're going to start looking at some more stuff for the body. I've got the headlights and mirrors rusted, and we're going to put those on. And I've made some little metal filler pieces here, and I'm going to make some for the other side. I'm going to mount those up, and we're going to let those really rust, so I'm going to have to grind the finish off of them. It's got like a slight coating on them so it doesn't rust at the store. And then we can start looking at the chassis. guys, so my little panels rusted. And what I did with those is I put them in the bathroom sink for about half a day with distilled white vinegar and hydrogen peroxide. And it can get messy, so you could stain your sink if you leave it too long. Mine's already been stained from the first few times I did it, so not a big deal. But I've got this side put on. I'm using some, I think these are 2 mil scale bolts, maybe 2.5. And yeah, just throwing them on. They, they're all varied. They look different even since I put the other two on yesterday. Some of it comes off, some of it doesn't. It does come off on your fingers. But it needed something to fill some of the openings on it. I'm probably going to have to look at widening or putting some wheel spacers on the front, because it doesn't give me much turning radius, just the width wise. We may look into some different wheels as well, or something. I don't know. I've got some ideas. Alright, so after I put my little plates on the bug body, I realized I need to widen the stance a little bit, because it wasn't going to be able to turn very much in the front, and the rear tires were rubbing on the bolts up here on the body. So I've had these. I don't remember where they're from. These are the hubs that come on these wheels, and these are some other ones that I've had laying around. Quite a bit wider. They accept the 12mm hex, and they are 5-lug pattern, and they'll bolt right to these RC 4-wheel drive wheels. I don't remember where I got these. I know you can buy these from RC 4-wheel drive for different offsets. That may be where I've had them. I've had them for so long I just don't remember. But I've already got them on the front. And for the front, being a non-drive axle, I had to drill out the center to, I think, 3/16 so it would fit over that. And then I also put a 12mm hex in it and drilled that out as well. So there's no ball bearings up front, but I used a little spacer, and it allowed the hub to spin freely and not have any side-to-side wobble. And that's what I've been doing on all my rat rods lately, just trying to get them up there, get the tires on the front, because there's really no good way to do that. They don't make like a semi-trucks have a hub for the bearings for that axle, but those semi-truck, like the hubs on the steel wheels that I've got, they won't bolt to these type of crawler wheels. They all have like 12 lugs and things like that. So this is the best way I've found. So I'm going to go ahead and get these swapped out on the rear now, and that should give us the width we need. I'm hoping the front's going to be wide enough. Alright, so I got the width sorted out. It's off to one side here. But I think I'll have plenty of room, enough steering. I keep going back to body mounts, but I'm not quite ready yet. So I think I'm going to focus on the rear suspension now. I've got to piece together a 4-link. I've got what's left of my link and rod end assortment. Been running pretty low on stuff since I've been building like crazy, but see what I can come up with. Just going to be a basic 4-link. I need to get the wheelbase right. That's going to be the tricky part, because I don't have the body mounted. So this build's, using an existing body like this has proven to add a lot of difficulty that I didn't expect. But I don't know, we'll get it sorted out, and we'll get this thing running eventually. Alright guys, so everything you watched so far I did back in March, but I got sidetracked with the big project that you don't know about yet, and so this thing never got finished, and it's kind of where it's at still. I have been using that chassis to mock up some of my other spare bodies, and using the axles, just kind of using it as like a test bed, just to see what looks good with it, and testing wheelbases and things like that. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. The patina and stuff, I really am happy with how it came out. I like the metal panels and the bolts holding it and everything. But yeah, I don't know. I started working on body mounts, and everything got a little out of whack, and I just put it aside and focused on the big project I had. So let me know what y'all think. Do you want to see it continue on like this, or would you rather me try to put that body on that JJRC little off-road buggy and do something else with this chassis? But anyways, I appreciate you watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Follow along on Instagram and Facebook, RC Everyday, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Keep it scale.